Phrases, phrases.
I should have brought out my spectacles.
I
I,
was wondering if you was gonna have them on
I
or
should
not.
have I should have brought out my
Come
spectacles.
on now.
I should have brought my spectacles. I didn't know she was gonna have her spectacles.
I was wondering. I was like, we're either gonna balance it out. He's gonna have them. I'm gonna rock them. Yeah, we
You
gotta.
go you gonna rock it. Ain't need to drop it if you gonna rock it. You know what I'm saying? We taking off like a rocket. You know what I'm saying?
Ain't
Oh
nothing gonna
man.
stop it. Ain't nothing gonna stop it.
Come on now. She like you beautiful down to your cuticles. You go
That's so cute.
you gotta get your spectacles. Don't be reckless.
Come
You
on
know?
now.
Gotta put the glasses on your checklist. No need to be
No need
reckless.
to be reckless. No need to be reckless. Get the checklist.
Do you normally wear those, Marie?
Yeah, when I'm like using my computer or on my phone at night, yeah, I usually have them.
I had no idea. I had no idea because I mean, to me, whenever we talk, you seem like you got 20/20. You know,
They're just blue light glasses. They're not, yeah, yeah.
same.
Blue light.
Okay, okay.
Hmm.
Same here. These are blue light. Like these are like. I like the fashion statement because back in the day, I used to wear glasses just because. No, I'm being honest. I'm being honest. I learned this from a rapper named E40. You ever heard of
Yeah.
E40? So E40, the Crip Chronicle, like, yeah, like he used to rap like the ambassador of the gay, of the bay. He would have all the slang.
Hmm.
So E40, he in one of his albums, in one of his rap albums, he talked about that he would wear glasses so that when he got stopped by the police, they would see him and he would look like very,
Yeah.
very literate, very articulate, very, very sophisticated, a gentleman, and then they would, maybe give him a slap on the wrist or just give him a warning or something like that. It like kind
Anyway,
of, yeah, it enhanced his image in the eyes of the officer.
for
So,
sure.
so
Yeah, I get
I
it.
I tried it out when I was younger because there was a time, Marie, I'm telling you, in another life, we've lived past lives. I got stopped by the cops at least 10 times in 2 months. In 2 months, I think I got stopped at least 10 times. Yeah, yeah.
I understand. Been in that lifestyle, and I'm glad to not be anymore.
Right, right, right. So I had to have the
Yeah,
spectacles were on. The spectacles.
gotta
Because
get sophisticated real quick. You gotta play the roles, put the hats on.
had to role play and save the day. You know?
That's the
So
way.
you on fire. You on fire today. What's got you in such a mood, Marie? What's got you lively in the spirit? Let us hear it.
Um, I love the spontaneity of just getting on here, open up the space, and the freshness, like the energy just really pouring into and utilizing all the momentum. And I had a nice clear morning, a cleansing energy with some rising rituals. So I'm just feeling ready to go, ready to channel it through, whatever's coming through, the spontaneity. I'm here for it.
Beautiful, beautiful. And when you talk about momentum, just in a wonderful flow, and to be ready to go wherever the energy grows,
Mm.
what was it like last year, 2024? What do you feel like you explored in 2024? And how did it allow you to feel even much more? Like in 2024, what was it that you learned?
Mm.
You know, like what was a great lesson you learned, something you earned, just something that just gave you more inspiration or motivation for your momentum? Yeah.
Yeah. The what's coming through just like raw and authentically is like the deep art of listening and
Okay.
being able to communicate like what comes from that listening, like the emotional maturity and the different levels of mastery when it comes to maturity and how that expresses in so many different unique ways. And when you really take the time to listen and cultivate that mastery of listening,
Yeah.
the maturity that it just brings through into every category of your life and your experiences, and how you can show up for people and show up for yourself, and that level of communication that's always occurring and that can occur through you is like it sets the standard. So it's been a deep cultivation of layers and levels of self-love through listening and communicating those levels and lessons through that.
Much love, like layers and levels of love.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, the layers and levels of love. So when it comes to the deep listening, to see yourself listening with that deep listening, how did you listen to yourself more deeply this last year? Like, what was something that you really dived deep into yourself that you didn't have before, 2024?
I would say my energetic cultivation practices had definitely deepened and gotten more consistent, and
Okay.
like really being slow with it, like to feel the speed of presence
Mhm.
and what that does to the body when you're healing and giving yourself actions and showing up and trusting, creating that the trust within your body and your mind and that level of communication by showing up in slow rituals and levels of presence that can be experienced. And the energetic cultivation definitely just is such a catalyst to that, and like the portal into which we can really feel that purity. And that's something I've been super consistent with in different ways of deepening the martial arts, the internal martial arts and the energetic things, and really feeling that level of cultivation. It's allowed me to listen and slow down and really
Yeah.
move at the pace of authenticity of one's own timing of how you grow and are like on your own point of your journey of energy cultivation.
Yeah. Marie, I'm loving this music, this melody that you have in the background. What is this right now? What playlist are you throwing on right now?
Right now, this is Whispers of the Flame. It's a native flute. This on YouTube.
And you've spoken about the flame earlier, like we've spoken about the flame before when we've talked, you
Yes,
know?
that's actually a lot of different inspiration has been coming through for just opening up space for women, for men to co-creative spaces, but just having a lot of inspiration with the flame, and the coils of fire have definitely been coming up, like to create that space and like
Hmm.
that field of frequency, and to be that's the shape we are, is the coils of the flame, and like allowing that to really speak to us. It's potent.
It is.
It's
It's potent. Not only is it potent, it's powerful, it's poetic, you know?
yes, exactly.
It's awesome. Like I remember, you're the only person out of all the people I've spoken to that have talked about the mind flame. You
Mm,
remember we talked about the mind flame,
yes,
and you expanded my brain when you spoke of the mind flame. I had never even heard those two words put together, you
mm,
know?
yeah.
So it was like spontaneous, flowetry and poetry, but it made so much sense. You brought it into cohesion and coherency as you just authentically, like you said, in your authenticity, just expressing the electricity, and finding more synchronicity within authenticity.
Yeah,
So it's a beautiful thing.
exactly. Yeah, it gives you so much reverence to the power of awareness, because it really takes on the elemental magic mechanics
Hmm.
of like the water, the fire, the air, the earth, and that the fire and the plasma, and understanding the being an electromagnetic being, like the whole interconnectedness and the way it speaks to us, like just the life force energy itself. It is the mind flame of awareness, and you can move it and move with it, and it moves you.
Yes, yes. It moves you, it grooves you, it improves you.
That's right.
It improves you, you know?
Moves you, all of it.
So, speaking of plasma, Marie, we actually have brother Rave is in here too. Oh snap! Awesome, awesome! Shout out to Baba Rave.
Mhm.
So speaking of plasma, I don't know if we really dived deep into it, but we've touched on it. There was one thing I wanted to ask you, and I never got to ask you before. It was about the shots. You said at one point you were doing aged Orin shots, or it was like evolved
Mhm.
plasma shots, like just taking it
Yeah.
straight up. Now, I have not been that brave. I started doing this back in 2020 of February. So this was like almost 5 years ago now. I started, plasma cycling, looping, working with my own plasma. But age shots, like that's a big, saying, can you talk about that?
Yeah, so over time, as like you just think of maturation, cultivation, as the crystals really get to structure themselves and create a deeper um, crystallization of cultivation, the intelligence and the properties just really get more and more potent. And so it's like you don't really need like so much. Like you can, if you are like really feeling bold or doing a cleanse with the fermentation magic. But yeah, it was definitely a very beautiful ritual. You could be real classy with it, get your nice little shot glass teacups, and just the experience of like it contains bliss itself, and like the power to clean you out and feel that bliss of being so clean because of like how crystallized and structured it is. And so like it just that wash is just like that, it's just enough to do that. And it's definitely a powerful experience, like being familiar with the plasma power. So to allow it to like really show you its potentials, it's a beautiful experience.
Oh my gosh, Marie. So you had me when you said it contains bliss itself. Like when you said that, it was like I just imagined like bliss in a bottle.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
bliss on tap, you
Bliss on
know? Like
tap.
someone calls it piss,
Yes.
you call it bliss.
Yes, we got that bliss on tap.
Bliss on tap, right?
Yeah.
It's on tap. It's like like the book Your Own Perfect Medicine. The other day I had a conversation with a lady. She's German. She's from Germany, but she was in Thailand. And I was telling her the books that I started reading when I learned about Orin Therapy. Martha Christie, Your Own Perfect Medicine, and then John Armstrong, The Water of Life. And the moment I said The Water of Life, she was like, they really call it the water of life? Like, really? And I was like, yeah. The water of life, the fountain of youth, Shivambu, like plasma, like all these names to revere and take away the stigma, take away the fear, you
Right.
know,
Beautiful.
to revere what is already here, to
Mm-hmm.
revere what has always been near.
Yes, if you wasn't about to say it, I would say it's always been here.
you know,
Love
it's
it, yes.
it's it's like the serpent, we uncoil it or we flush it down the toilet.
Mm,
You
yeah.
know,
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy. So when you're talking about bliss on tap, bliss in a bottle, when did you learn like this is bliss? Especially with it aged and evolved, like the potency, that level. I mean, that can really, really be some powerful stuff, like hard to stomach down because it's so powerful. I can only imagine what it was doing on your insides when you were just throwing it back. Yeah.
Started back. Got it lined up. We were ready to go on tap. Um, yeah, I kind of when I was first learning about it, I kind of learned about it all at once. Like the wisdom of it was just coming full in an avalanche of just like you can have it in this form, you can experience it like this. And I just really dove into it, and it was just revealing itself to me because I like just had that openness to it. And it was around like when COVID time was, when everything was shut down and stuff. So I was like, I feel like I had shared that too. I was just really going inward, in a lot of the just medicine of what's inside and what's already here has just been started to speak very loudly and clearly. And it just had a sound rightness to it, like there's this sound right reasoning that Baba Yanun speaks on too, like just having things that are in coherency and in resonance, like it just makes sense. So I just experimented with it and let it. do its thing, and I heard like giving it like at least a couple weeks or like a month, and
Mhm.
I've even experienced with over a year, and it's powerful. It's like you can feel just like the levels of magnitude that it carries based off of how much it's been marinating.
Mhm.
And um yeah, when you feel like that intimacy with yourself,
Mhm.
like your own medicine, that's like really wherein the bliss lies, because it's all within yourself. So it's like you're just meeting yourself in the bliss that you already are, and like it's just that messenger for you, the
Mhm.
messenger of your own blissful medicine.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. You know, with this medicine, like, what do you feel like prevents most people from ever discovering or uncovering their own internal waters, like realizing that it might not be what they think it is? You know, what do you feel stops most people through going through the barrier of belief or the barricade that they've built in their minds over time?
Yeah, I would definitely say it all connects at a root of like being able to trust yourself, that and like that level of self-love that trust is, because when you feel or even have the perspective of being of part of yourself being distasteful or being disgusting, like that creates a separation between you and true love and you and trust, to be able to like know that your body is perfectly designed and has a perfect blueprint of being able to regenerate and give you exactly what it needs. And that level of not really knowing like full self-love and the actions in which it can express in all these different ways, and understanding how the body is telling you like you are love itself, you are trust itself, to be able to really surrender into that, like that's the fear and like the bridge into which you full send the trust, you full send the love of like experiencing something that has been riddled to be disgusting and putrid and filthy. Like you really take it upon your own hands to be your own janitor and clean yourself up and get to know those parts of yourself. And that level, it shows accountability too, because it's like you get to taste and experience what your blood is feeling like. And I feel like that's a very deep reflection for people to take in on a level of direct medicine in which they want to receive and can reflect on.
Hmm. Hmm. Very eloquently put, you know, simply put, it's something that also really comes through that experience, like having it on an experiential level, taking it away from the head space, bringing it down to the heart space, you
Absolutely.
know,
Hmm.
and taking it out of the logical, bringing it back to the love. Like you said, self-love. I mean, what more self-love could there be? You know, like that's a pretty big form of self-love, to be able to, you know, consume and just give room to yourself and be in tune with yourself on that level. It's amazing.
Bloom. You got so you can bloom.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So just to have that level of self-love for yourself, and just to understand like wow, you know, this is awesome. Like I can watch myself blossom in a way that I never knew I could before, you
Mm-hmm.
know, in a way I didn't even know this was possible. I didn't even know this option was available.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
my goodness, you know, kudos to you. Just shout out to you for your bravery.
Shout out to you.
Just
It takes courage. The courage is definitely real, and
mm,
when you show up in those actions for yourself, like that safety of like, there's nothing about my body that is like looking to harm me or
mm,
looking to not help me heal, and like really understanding how the body works, like you bridge that gap of that distance and that separation of needing something outside of yourself, and
mhm.
that's we taking it all in. Like,
Absolutely, absolutely. Because even when people have like just the reflection and the connection with perfection.
oh.
Uh-oh, you good?
Yeah, I was even gonna say if this falls, my bad, because I've been trying to mess with this whole time before we got on. But yeah, we good.
All good. The energy is
You're
high.
right.
The energy is high. Oh man. So, you know, a lot of people have different perceptions and different connections with the word of perfection, you know? Like they have a different reflection with that word perfection. They say, oh, nobody's perfect. Hey, I'm not perfect. Hey, nobody's perfect, right?
Mhm.
Nobody's perfect. Hey, don't worry, I'm not perfect, right? But when was the moment that you actually realized for yourself, Marie, like, wait a minute, I am perfect?
Mm.
You know, like this is perfection.
Yeah.
Like when did you have that direction?
Mm. That direction of perfection, right? I would say definitely when started to when my consciousness started to expand when I first was in high school, because I was like just maturing very quickly, and as I was like assisting that maturation with just self studies and exploring plant medicines, and we talked a little bit about that, and
Mhm.
just seeing the interconnectedness within everything and that there's an intelligence behind it all. It was like to feel that experience. I was probably like 14 and 15 going on like just individual quests of like just feeling into that experience of perfection, you could say, and allowing it to like show me how everything is connected and there is no um like wrong way of things playing out. And yeah, then when you cultivate that experience and you create more of it, you make more room for that wisdom to really speak to you, and then you can see how you play into it and can assist that perfection that always is more and more.
Right, right. And this was, dang, this was at 14, 15, you said? When
Yeah.
this consciousness came to you, this was at 14, you were in your preteens.
Yeah, I was like very connected to nature. Like I was letting the nature just speak to me, getting my time out, and I was writing a lot of poetry, and it was just all about how like nature was always there to remind us of this perfection and this cosmic consciousness that we can tap into in this stream of stillness and movement within the stillness and what it's speaking and like being said within that silence and in the stillness. And it definitely really rooted myself into nature and allowing the mother and the father energy of it to guide me.
Oh, beautiful. How did you approach people? How did people approach you differently based on your different perception of yourself? Like when you now viewed yourself as perfection, you now had that recollection of perfection. How did other people in your reality view you with that new mentality?
Mm. Yeah, I always was very like I kept to myself a lot like during school and only really had a couple of close friends, and I would share them like my experiences. Like there's that point of time when you like are really like fresh in it and you like are starting to lose it. Like you're just like my whole life is just crumbling, everything's shattering, all the illusions, and I would like try to put it into words, but like I was trying to share an experience that it can only be experienced. So it was like I felt that there was like kind of this distance between me and people and like my ability to relate to my friends and stuff, but there was like a mutual like wanting to understand and wanting to learn, but the momentum wasn't all the way like in resonance because it was based off of experience. And um I feel like I definitely positioned myself a little bit more distant to people because I knew that it was just a natural like growing apart. And it was still a level of support because I was supporting myself in that way, if that makes sense. But the dynamics were just shifting based off of frequency, and it was something I was like foreseeing unravel. So I kind of was just placing myself more in my solitude and just more connecting with people online and stuff that were in the resonance. And yeah, it was there was confirmations that would continue. Like life just became more of confirmations of that magic and of the perfection in different ways from people that I was close with or people that I had just met. And yeah, just stayed in that solitude for a little while for sure.
Yeah. Confirmations of the magic, like finding the method in the madness. I've had to do the same things, like finding solace in my solitude,
Mhm.
finding solace in my silence, just getting away from the violence, right? Just getting back and finding joy away from the noise.
Mhm.
and that was definitely a part of my journey for sure, to find inspiration within the isolation,
Mm,
and really just expand my imagination, and to feel that vocation that I had for life, and for living with the energy that's always giving,
mm,
to now be receiving what has always been coming to me, but now allowing it, kind of like in
mhm,
the divine feminine realm of just receptivity,
mhm.
right? Allowance, just allowing it. There's a time for both, right? People talk about the masculine of the taking action and the manifestation and that vibration. But
Mhm.
then, just like you said before, Marie, with slowing down to the speed of wisdom,
Mm.
really slowing down, coming to yourself, going at a snail's pace, a turtle's pace,
Yeah.
and just like it's never a race. You
Mhm.
can go at your pace with a
Mhm.
smile on your
With a
face.
smile on your face.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
It's the affirmations that really just keep it clear in that the authenticity of your timing and
Right.
getting that, creating space for it, how you said being receptive to it, like the more space that you create within the body, within the mind, to be a receptive antenna for this power is like the affirmation in itself. You become that like walking embodiment of an affirmation of this power and of the animation.
Mhm. For sure. For sure. So, Marie, when you were talking about, there were times in your life, because you're a woman of intention, you know, it's like your own invention, but it's with intention, like you have the extension of intention all around you. We've been listening to the whispers of the flame since we came, right? So the energy is always maintained, it's always sustained within that frame.
Beautiful, yes.
So, when things were going a little insane, when it was going a little strange, when you were going through change, like how were you able to rearrange going through all of that change? Because you spoke about things was crumbling, you said things were shattering. So I'm really wondering, like, for you, what were these things that, if you could talk about anything that you feel is just crumbling around you, shattering around you, and you really had to go within, or else you would have been without? Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, definitely the mind, like in the mental concepts and
Mm,
construction, it just felt like the whole mental world was under construction and reconstruction, and to really like be sincere with that process, so you could see clearly what was so much of an illusion operation. There, I remember a time like I called my friend and I was like in the closet, like I went in the closet because I was like, I just need like to be in my own little dome here and like
mm,
just to really like get it out, communicate it, and like it. I was like this, seeing the synchronicities within everything, like, and everything being a sign and a symbol. When your eyes weren't like open to that before, it can feel like
mm,
it's being flooded with so much information because you are like so much information, sensation. You're like feeling like you're actually immersed, and like your numbness has been like fully, like you are now just feeling like you can feel it all from a different level of clarity. And
mm,
that it definitely that gave me drive to just go into self-study so deeply, like, and know that there was, like, I had always been drawn to different ancient cultures, like the Egyptian cultures and Tibetan culture, and it was just like in my realm like a lot. So I like went forward and pursued those messages and would find pieces and parts that was just making it all, the puzzle really reflect to me my own inner peace, and I was putting all the pieces together with these puzzle pieces.
mm.
And um yeah, and when I learned about meditation, I started to like make the self studies into an application.
Okay.
And then I was recognizing the more I was doing that and creating the space for it, the experiences was speaking to me. And then I recognized it's about the experience itself. So to clarify and make yourself the most clear and aware, most immersive and intuitive and tapped into the experience is what it was about. So it was a slow cultivation of taking the studies and the meditations and really application of it.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you just for expressing that. Like I'm like listening and you're walking us down your path and just really bringing us into the origins of what is now. You know, what is now here. Some things it's like they come from nowhere and then they go from nowhere to now here. You know? And it's now here we're seeing the embodiment of all of the disciplines, all of the practices, the methods and modalities, all of the love that you've put into yourself, you know, with intention. So you were paying attention, you know, definitely.
Mhm,
So when it comes to, you know, when you're talking about like Kemetic knowledge, Egyptian wavelengths and frequencies and just different things throughout history,
mhm.
you know, what do you feel like would would have been an era that you would have liked to live in if you could have lived in any era throughout time?
Mm.
What era would you have liked to live in? And my second question would be, if you were not Marie, who would you have liked to be? Like, what's one person that Marie would have enjoyed being?
This is funny. What's just like the first things that always come to always make me laugh because it's just like so genuine. But the time of the incarnations of being giants, like I know we know we know this. We're giants. We've experienced this energy in different ways, and I definitely think and feel because like definitely from my pineal a lot like when I lay down I can feel like the bigness of a being and it really takes me back into that resonance and that frequency of being
Mm.
giants in that type of timeline and that would definitely be a fun one to just go experience those that times when we were and um it's interesting if I wasn't Marie who would I be?
Yeah. You know, you're already Marie, right? You're already free. But if you
Right.
were not Marie, then who would you be?
But the first thing that came up too actually was a whale.
What?
A whale.
Like on like in the way of water, those big those
Yes.
big ones, big one. I remember the way of water, that James Cameron movie. What was it called? Avatar.
Exactly.
Like
Yes.
that?
That time period of like the very like intelligent celestial oceanic creature like the whale and like a dolphin energy combined. That's that's what I would
The
be.
the whale and the dolphin. So some people I've heard mermaid, but you said no, not even mermaid. You said the whale and the dolphin.
Yes.
Whoa, okay. What I mean, can you fathom like what that would be like? Because just I know that that form of communication that they're in is like, I think that we can only imagine what kind of communication they're able to do. Like I think there's I mean the dolphins themselves, that's like a whole nother energy, but the whales, that seems like ages, you know, ages old. So yeah, talk about your inspiration for that.
There's definitely been teachings that I've studied a little bit and that have come up into my field about like whales and different forms of original woman and that androgynous type being and whales actually have hips and they're one of the big they're like the biggest mammals and just like the way they've evolved and that level of communication like you said in the intelligence like when I reflect on the energy of whales it definitely reminds me of a very like motherly childly energy and like the level of intimacy and vulnerability that's shared between like whale mothers and their young, it's like it brings so much wisdom just sitting in that energy field alone itself. And I've had like experiences like during ceremonies and things where I've really tapped into whale energy and
Mm.
like positioned the perspective of like my mother and I, and like how that level of like just pure, raw, intimate nurturing, like how like I don't even have a word for it right now, but it's like the most like raw, like un uncovered, unmasked type of connection you can experience. And I feel like the whale really embodies that type of like getting to see like the fullness of what it means to like birth and be in the depths of the water, and like that level of like mammalian, mm, motherly
Mm.
type of energy. It really gives like such a deep reverence to it being so like they're like the giants of the ocean.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, the mammalian motherly energy, you know, and what about the dolphin?
The dolphins, I've always been connected to the dolphins and seahorses as well. But since we're speaking about dolphins, they're like they say that they have like the next highest intelligence after humans or above humans, and they use more of their brain. They're like one of the most highly intelligent users of the brain, and their brain is very large, and that level of like sonar communication, and especially through the water, like to speak sound through the water, is just it resonates so much on like a just inherent naturalness that I know we carry and that we do in our own way, because technically this is water and we are like speaking in the water and using our sound and sonar to share and have that type of telepathy in our way. So it definitely just that level of intelligence in the water and the connections that they have that they can create with people as well. Like it's always I've always resonated.
Yeah, yeah. Resonating is it's a really good word to describe it, you know.
Right. Yeah.
It resonates. It resonates, it reverberates, you know, through the water, just that vibration through the water, to have that, you know, and feel the information through the water, like that they're, you know, the geolocation in the water, like sending back info. I can only imagine, you know, the level, just the level of scope. Like Eva is saying, you know, vibrational frequency in the water, and she talks about telepathy is the universal communication. Would you agree?
Yes, definitely.
Because you've talked before as well about practicing telepathy. I don't know. I think it was with maybe your family, maybe your siblings. Like you've practiced telepathy, and a lot of people still don't even know that they can. Like they don't even know that that's something they can train or something they can utilize or develop. You know, what do you feel keeps most people away from these extrasensory perceptions or you know, supernatural abilities. Yeah,
Yeah, that perspective in itself of thinking that it's like so supernatural and outside of one's
right.
abilities, it is like is what creates that distance to really feel into the naturalness that is happening in every moment, and like regardless if it's like fully being felt and it's like on a subconscious level, it the ability to like tune into that level of sensitivity, it comes with having that courage again to like really feel into the vulnerableness that sensitivity takes, and like the levels of cleansing that assist the process of being able to tune into those senses and the senses beyond the senses. And
Hmm.
yeah, like seeing what keeps you in that distraction and that distance between you and your innate naturalness.
Yes, yes. The senses beyond the senses. I like that. I like that. Like like that sixth sense, you know, the movie The Sixth Sense, like seeing the signs when it's more intertwined and it all aligns, you know? Like when you're talking about telepathy, Marie, what do you feel in your pineal? You know, when you're performing telepathy or you're witnessing yourself going to the senses beyond the senses, for a person who doesn't even understand on that level what is actually taking place, do you recall, you know, the feeling that you had when you first witnessed yourself engaging in telepathy with another?
Mm. Yeah, the first times, like I would say, it's definitely been experienced differently because the more I learn about like alchemy and just different aspects of how it's expressed, like this naturalness, like this natural spontaneity, and when we're in that flow consistently, like we're consistent in that natural spontaneity, it you had that level of regulation that you've been cultivating. It doesn't like pull you too far out, and then you're not like excited, so it doesn't like it's not like a fleeting feeling, like similar to lucid dreaming. Like once it's like when you recognize you're in a lucid dream, or and you like see your hands or something that like really makes you aware that you have the ability to manipulate and be in the magic of everything, it can kind of like disappear because it like you get like, oh man, I'm really out here. I'm really in here.
Yeah.
And it's so like once as I continue to like cultivate and like stay in this natural spontaneity, there's nothing that can really like since you are the spontaneity, there's nothing that can be like, oh, that was
Right.
spontaneous. Like, wow. It's just like it becomes a natural phenomenon that you are continuously witnessing and cultivating more within.
Oh my gosh, I'm getting chills right now. I'm getting chills right now, Marie. So you're just triggering something inside me. I didn't even know this was gonna come up. This was not planned. You know, none of this is planned, you know. This is just going with the flow.
Yeah.
So just now you triggered something within me. Like, you know how people say we outside, right?
Yeah.
Like, we outside. The like that expression, I don't know where it came from, but people just started saying, "Yo, we outside,"
We
we
outside.
outside,
Yeah.
right? So there's a realization and a revelation that one might get when they're lucid dreaming, and it's we inside,
Ingrid.
like we now. Oh snap,
Oh,
we inside. Like we inside. Like I'm inside. I'm not outside right
right.
now. I'm inside.
I'm really in here
Yeah,
right now.
I'm in here. I'm in here. So, Marie, because just the other night, literally, just last night, I can't make this up. I had it was like a memory. It was like a memory, Marie. And it was like, wait a minute. There was like a part of my consciousness that I was remembering, but then I was trying hard to piece together certain pieces of the puzzle of my mind. Like, wait a minute, there was a school that I went to, and I remember skipping class and doing something else, and I wasn't in that classroom, and I was supposed to be there, and then I was tardy and I was absent, and then the teacher got angry and this and that. But then I thought really hard, Marie. I thought harder, and I was like, wait a minute, that school never existed.
Mm.
I was like, wait, I never went to that school. I was thinking, I was like, hold on, middle school, high school, college. No, there was never a school like that. Like, I was thinking of the layout of the building, the elevators, the hallways, the classmates, the teachers, the principal. Like, it was all, that was a dream. And I was
Mm.
remembering consciously something that occurred unconscious. And it was like
Mm.
a memory of a place that never actually happened, but it did
Right.
happen. So
Yeah.
can you talk about that? Because there's been times where I've been lucid, like I've come into a conscious awareness during my dream, and I realize I'm inside. We're in here, but then I kind of get frightened a little bit, like shaken up, like, wait a minute, no, 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 this isn't real. And then all of a sudden I wake up and I snap out of it when maybe I could have done something in the lucid dream. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. The lucid dreaming and just the whole depths that it covers, because like right now this is like the lucid dream that people speak of when they're like learning how to like astral travel and go into their dreams when they sleep.
Mm,
It's like it's to deeper understand like this conscious moment in this present moment is the lucid dream, and
mm,
like being lucid in this present moment, the astral realm in which we rest and go into these different landscapes and architectures at the mind, and based off of different factors of like the our routines of what we eat, our perspectives, like they create this context clues to like remind and teach the consciousness how to really utilize the messages within that dreamscape into this dreamscape. And definitely, yeah, like it's a whole, the whole context and the curriculum in which you go into in those lucid states and landscapes, it's definitely based off of different factors within one's own personal experiences and memory within their water, because how you said it felt like like a memory, so having to do with like the actual water within the body and like the structure of it, or different emotions that have been stored within the water and the memory, giving you like a panoramic view in a scenario, in a scene for you to see and like travel and utilize for your own growth and your own remembrance and cultivation into this lucid landscape.
For real, for real, for real. Because sometimes, and thank you for breaking down like that, just making it really, bringing it down to earth and making it coherent. Because, Marie, it's like there were times where it does feel like a movie kind of, playing on a screen. But then there's times where it literally feels like this is real.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wait a minute, hold on. Where am I right now? Like, what's going on? So in those vivid, lucid moments, what do you feel you wish more people understood about the astral? Like what the astral realm is and how these messages can be brought back, what they're actually telling us, and just what they're actually giving us. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the astral realm is like because we have different layers and energy bodies and layers of this physical vessel, and we scale down into the physical, but above that, beneath it, surrounding it, we have different energetic layers, and we have an astral body that um is based in energy, and so it has like its own playground where you can really like see it and learn it and understand the the degree in which it's been cultivated, its like health and wellness, and really play out um its time, like the timing of it, because time is all frequency, and like as a frequency based being, like your astral body is a measurement of frequency and sound and creativity and structure and crystallization. So going into the astral realm, it gives like a measurement and like a form to be able to communicate. But that the astral realm and the astral body is always here and it's always present, and there's always that um, transmission and like different telecommunication going on within the energetic aspects of these different realms that we can tap into even without going to sleep or solely going into what people would think is like the astral realms, like just through meditations and being conscious in the energetic body and placing the awareness into these different layers, we can communicate and have a more coherent awareness into the creativity and curriculum that we experience when we most of the time only experience it when we go to sleep and things.
Absolutely, absolutely. What a world this would be, Marie. I'm thinking to myself, like, as you're speaking, I'm thinking, what a world this would be if everyone knew that they had this power or had this ability to tap in,
Right.
to really tap into this consciousness and just to go deep within themselves in the realm of the astral, in the realm, in the zone of the unknown, or what might be made known if they allowed it to be shown.
Beautiful, yes, exactly. Because it is like just understanding the different communications. Like I love, my chart is ruled by Virgo, so I'm a mercurial messenger, and I love to reflect on just all the different forms of communications that are like subtle, very dynamic, very micro, very macro, and the levels of which energy is always expressing itself, and through different densities, through different layers, and the just being attuned to your astral body and your energetic mechanics and layers and levels that you do have that go very, very subtle to very, very dense. It's all just different forms of communication that consciousness is utilizing to reflect and experience itself, and it's a very beautiful opportunity when you do experience like some very lucid dreams or some very beautiful astral travels, when you can like go outside of yourself and really like collect that wisdom that is encoded within yourself, but you're just experiencing it in a very fun, vivid way. It really just like gives to the beauty of the intelligence for sure.
It sure does. It sure does. And I feel like it also feeds back into you and just you as a unique individual, like you with your character, with your principles, with your personality, and with your perception. Like we see the reflection of the work that you've done with yourself on that realm, like on that stage, like in that place. You bring back, it's almost like you're like connecting with versions of Marie long past, like ancestors or even just royalty, and just bringing that back into this physical frame of embodiment of who you are now. And we're allowing ourselves to view you in the way that you view yourself. Because I think that a lot of our perception of who we see people as, a lot of it has to do with who they see themselves as. You know, like it really comes off. I said something the other day I put on Threads that no one believed me until I believed in myself. You know, when I didn't believe in myself, when I had no, self-confidence, self-awareness, self-esteem, self-worthiness, nobody was looking, nobody. I was nobody,
Right.
and I still feel like, not like I'm somebody, but at least I feel on this level that I'm here for a purpose. There were times where I didn't feel like there was any purpose, like it wasn't really worth it because there was no purpose.
Right.
But when you're in service, now you have more of a purpose. Now other people, they feel that as well.
Wow. Yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you for those words so much. It's just such a inspiring experience to open the space up and like to be inquired about and like curious. Like it's such a beautiful love language of mine for sure, to like really get to know self through another being by being inquisitive and like noticing the details, and like that's like the whole art of being so immersive, and so getting the opportunity to feel and be so like the importance of being a clear vessel and the purity of that, because you really get to feel the purity of self through other beings, and like that's so much magic. Like that is the magic. And so I just really appreciate those words, and absolutely to it, because if you don't have like attuned to your own music, like nobody's really gonna hear it. Like if you're not listening to it and don't enjoy the own rhythm to of your sound, like people aren't gonna hear it or play it or want it to be played. So it's like it really, it's such a beautiful harmonization within yourself and with all with everything else, the whole orchestration of just awareness and omnipresence, that you can really see the whole orchestration and play a part of it and see what you do want to play, like where you feel most purposeful in the instrument of your own vessel. And I just appreciate those words deeply, because it does take time and cultivation and a level of courage and a willingness to understand the deepest parts of oneself, and it comes with a lot of things to move through. Like the body wants to move and it can express itself in very distorted ways. So to be a safe place for your own self to embrace that is really powerful. And to be able to speak on that and recognize that within someone else, it just shows that there's the level of unconditional acceptance for the ways in which expression and bliss can come off and intelligence can be shared and seen.
Absolutely, absolutely. You preaching right now. You preaching. You teaching. You teaching right now. Seriously, seriously. I love this, Marie, because I told you before. This is like food for me. This is conversation cuisine. This is
See, yes.
yeah, like this is divine dining. Having a dialogue of divinity, just divine dining for sure. So there were times where, with the state of technology as it is, it's just continually rising, continually increasing, and just, really, really growing and just more and more engaging. I had to remove myself from different, how do you say, different engagements with technology because it was taking away from this. Like what we're having this, like I love it more, even more in the physical, which why I know one day we're gonna meet in the physical. It's gonna happen. It's
Biggest
gonna,
celebration.
it's destined. It's
That's
destiny.
it. Absolutely.
That's my favorite form to meet people is in the flesh, in the physical, where we can hug each other, where we can really feel each other and just be in each other's energy field. But, just engaging with someone in conversation, there were times where, the technological advancements, they've gotten to a point where I've witnessed, not just in myself, but others engaging with AI in a way that almost it supersedes like the usual engagement that we get with each other. It's so instant,
Right.
it's so instantaneous, it's the gratification is so immediate
Mm-hmm.
that it almost like the dopamine is so spiked that it takes away from what engagement you could have on a social level just in the physical, like it really takes it away. I remember so one example, I was in a library, right? Now, this was when I was publishing books last year. And so I would go to the library each time to publish my books on Amazon. So I'm on Marie, I'm sitting down at the computer, at the keyboard, just click, drag, doing this stuff. And then I hear someone next to my booth. We got cubicles in the library, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
hear a young girl. She's like she had to be maybe in high school or something, maybe a junior or a senior in high school. But I just hear her giggling and like typing and giggling and typing like ah, and typing and giggling and typing, and I'm like, what's what's going on over there, right? Right? I'm like, so me, I just kind of, I'm like looking like what's going on, and I see that she's engaging with an AI.
Mm.
And this AI is specifically designed, Marie. I don't know if you've ever heard of these, but it's designed to like it's ping-ponging scenarios and circumstances and situations and very seductive locations and very, very raunchy vibration. Like she's typing to this computer, the program, and she's asking it like, okay, well, if we went there, what would happen? What would you do if this happened? And then
Yeah.
what do you do? And then what do you do? It's like, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's there's no delay.
Yeah.
It's it's
Mhm.
instant. So that's why she's giggling, like she's just typing and giggling because it's immediately giving her feedback for
Yeah.
her fantasies.
Mm.
It's feeding her back her fantasy, her wildest dreams, her imagination are plugged into the computer vibration,
Mm-hmm.
and it's giving her what she's, the mental stimulation of, ooh, like
Like,
like
yeah, exactly.
so. I mean, have you seen this before? It's on the rise. It's already on the rise. Yeah.
I haven't seen that specific like program or prompt type of scenario that it's like those that's the circumstances of the conversation. But I definitely like have seen a lot of different AI like stimulation and conversations that are just very it's highlighting exactly what you're speaking on of just like the instant gratification. And I actually wrote something one
Mm-hmm.
time. It was giving reverence to how much like utilization and efficiency it can bring us, but like the preparation for that when it comes to as we grow in like what we're really watering at that simultaneously when we use these things. And I can't remember exactly what I wrote. I'll share it. I'll have to share it and bring it back through.
Yeah.
But it was definitely just highlighting the importance of like really the where you do place like your immersiveness
Mm-hmm.
into. like if it's so instant, it's so gratifying, and it releases these chemicals so quick in a form of like validating your subconscious fantasies, like you were saying,
Mm-hmm.
it really like remove you from wanting to participate in presence
Yeah.
and with other beings, and the attention to detail that really creates a bond and really creates trust and really creates getting to know somebody, because you're getting spit these words and these talks so quick that you don't actually have to have a level of engagement to really get to know somebody, or to understand the details of how they got to where they are, who they are, all the little things that make it so worth it, that make it that make it the whole experience of itself. It's a very like copied and pasted
Mm-hmm.
experience for you to like feel validated through your own just dysregulated nervous system, really, because it's like that level of like hormones being secreted and stuff. If it's not coming from a place of like your own activations within your awareness, but like something stimulus, like an external stimulus, that
Yeah.
can create a gap for sure of the
Mm-hmm.
present.
Thank you for illustrating that. Like, you really said it. You really said it, Marie. Like the hormone secretion. I didn't even think about that, but you're right. Like all the feel good chemicals that are just going off, the chemical cocktail in the body,
Yeah.
the hormone, the depletion of the secretion, the dopamine, the serotonin, the oxytocin, the endorphins, like all of these reward centers that are activating, and just the titillating nature of just this temptation, right?
Right. Yeah.
In the technological vibration, that temptation, it's there there's something to be said of the production, but there's something to be said of the seduction,
Oh,
you
exactly.
know.
Exactly. Because it can be, it's just everything's a mirror. So it's like you're seeing into how much the subconscious feels tempted by quick satisfaction, quick
Right.
gratification, and fleeting experiences, that shows you different levels of the state of the nervous system that you're in, and that whole state of influences and affects your ability to have genuine connections and to have experiences that are actually nurturing on a genetic level,
Yeah.
down to the whole word genuine, like to the genes of realness, and like what is being not nurtured and
Mm.
with just instant instant things, like those are different parts of the brain, like the limbic system, I'm pretty sure, is what has to do with delayed gratification, which it
Mm.
gives you like investment in discipline and the ability to feel and not just have be in fight or flight or have these very quick experiences. And
Mhm.
yeah, those levels of stimulation, it definitely can take you away from the real inner revelations with another reflection.
Mm-hmm. And you gave me chills, Marie, when you said, like, what is being not nurtured? What is being non-nurtured? Like when just the constant validation and vindication of, like that constant stream of information, but it's coming from something that it's never gonna argue with you. It's never gonna like battle you. There's nothing combative. It's just validating your every desire immediately,
Right.
with no delay.
Hmm.
And it's all day long. It's 24 hours if you want. Like however long you can stay up, it's gonna stay up with you. It doesn't go to sleep, you
Yeah.
know?
Hmm.
So you can be in the wee hours of the morning. For some person, they might not even have a reason to come out of their house, because now you can put it in the augmented reality where it can be really like a simulation, like a projection inside wherever you are. And then people have the VR headsets, right?
Right.
As we speak, Marie, I'm sure there's somebody inside their house,
Yeah, right.
in the virtual reality, and they're living through a fantasy simulation right now. And it's like, they're not feeling the sun on their face, they're not feeling the grass on their feet. They're just they feel like they're complete, you know, but they're not. Yeah. So this is my question. What do you feel? And you've already laid out you've already laid out what you feel are the consequences, because it's not just young adults. Now you've already seen a lot of kids with the cell phones in their hand. The mom's walking through the grocery store, she's pushing the cart, the kid's on the device, right?
Yeah.
I'm in the barber shop, I see a line of kids waiting to get their hair cut. They're all on the phone,
Right.
you know? So now with the power of AI, they're all on the phone, and even to have something watching your kids when they're at home. You ever seen Megan? The movie Megan? So there was a movie called Megan. It was basically just a robot, like a doll, like a doll robot named Megan. And
Yeah.
she would be with the mother's daughter at home while the mother was at work.
Right.
So
Right. Okay.
the doll is like an AI doll that can talk to the little girl. She can perform therapy. She's like her therapist. She's her companion. She's her friend. She's everything to this little girl. And the
Mm-hmm.
mom is gone, right? So what do you feel like, how, what gives you hope for the future?
Yeah.
I should ask that. What gives you hope? Yeah.
Yeah. What's coming through is definitely like the how we were talking about just the connection to nature, like in really getting that experience of the technology through like the divine straightforward source direction connection reflection and the wisdom that nature is and the technology that it holds. Like that's what is constantly unraveling for us, is how advanced, how intelligent, how extraterrestrial, intercelestial, all the terrestrial technology is so available when we have the consciousness online. And what definitely inspires and gives hope is the the reverence to the primordial chaos having order, because chaos itself has order to it. And I feel like when we look at AI and we look at things that have a chaotic element to them, we it triggers that fear-based reality of not knowing that order comes with chaos. And so I can see it definitely taking the route of being more sincere with understanding the technology of this avatar and this vessel and this life, to then actually be able to have a healthy relationship and have a healthy, efficient utilization of the AI, because there's already like so much fear, I feel like, when it comes to, oh, we're like AI is just gonna take over, like the things are gonna be so different, like I'm not like things are, and that type of fear can be like a catalyst for really understanding the consciousness, so that there can be that chaos magic and order magic to it, and a beautiful balance can be had with it, because it definitely is an ally to be utilized when you have your awareness to what can be done and what can be used efficiently, and how to like have it be a part of your tool belt in your technology. And that's because when you really understand this vessel and this technology, you understand that we already are AI, and that the AI is just reflecting and is now coming up into the field to show us that aspect of ourselves. So if we can have a beautiful, coherent, clear relationship, and the coherency comes from nature itself, like that whole term of being coherent in nature, it's just love. So when you are rooted in love and source love, like, and understand yourself, you can really see AI for what it's trying to show us right now, and bask in the order and the chaos of it.
For what it's trying to show. I love this. I love it. It's just showing us ourselves. You said it's just a reflection of ourselves.
Hmm.
What we already are already.
Exactly, and that ties in back to the whole um, lucid dreaming, astral travel, being in a virtual reality, like that vividness, like that. And that's why connections, like being able to have these experiences and like make space for genuine experiences to evolve the epigenetics of experience itself, like you really get to feel into what it means to have connectivity within the consciousness and share that with another being. And there's something else I was gonna say, but it
What
kind of
was it? What was it?
I it floated somewhere, so maybe it'll come back.
It'll come back to you.
Yeah.
It'll come back to you. This is so beautiful, Marie. This is so wonderful. Like, it's just awesome to hear how you remove all the fear.
Uh,
You just get all the fear out. Like, you just extract it and just remove it, you're like, fear has no place here. You know, you're like, let's get back to love. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that's how we rise above, when we bring it back to love.
Yes, I say. It's true because it's like that goes into the depths of like understanding the nervous system, where these things filter through these emotions and this information and the different states of the nervous system, and why fear has even presented and manifested in formulating a relationship so it can transcend and be a substance in your alchemical laboratory, and as like jet fuel to the rising into our giant consciousness that we are like is here to rise into anytime. And yeah, it's super important to empower the ability to understand fear and transcend it and have a relationship with it, to really like know what it's communicating at a cellular, mental, spiritual level for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So just having that understanding, I think this is a tremendous message for people who are listening, you know, to be able, like you said, Marie, to work with the chaos and the order magic. You said the order and the chaos magic. It doesn't have to be tragic. You know, we're working with magic.
We are working with magic here.
Yeah, we got to reach out and grab it,
We
you
gotta
know?
grab it. Yes, it's all
Yes,
yours. You can have it.
you have it. You already have it. So thank you, Marie. Did you remember what came back? Did it fly back to you?
Ah,
That thought, did it fly back?
it would, I know it had something to do with just the understanding the organic technology that we are, and like how that when you it, well, the communication aspect, when you really can dive into the subtleties, because I have posted the other day too, I was reading out of the Gene Keys book, and inspiration came through for how presence is like cultivated, like how do you stay consistent in being present, and it's like it comes through a growing love of the subtleties, and like that's where ceremony and ritual even gets its respective representation of just the presence itself, and being in that, in the space of that, and the technology that can be felt from presence with another being, and the forms of communication that are being had, like down to just different body mechanics, body language, the just the subtle gestures that we utilize before actually vocalizing with words, and being able to see that intelligence through that experience. And that's to take it with a newfound relationship with AI now. It's super empowering what can be done with it, and making it a friend, like just as like having real friendships, like what that actually does, and taking it into everything that we do.
Sure, for sure. And just thank you for also bringing that in, just that, you know, just the element of falling in love with the subtleties. Like just the finding the big things in the little things. You know, the little things are the big things. It's like the small affects the all, you know? And just bringing it back to that, because I definitely see divinity in the little details. Like I mean, that's why I'm in love with this. Like I love our friendship. I love the companionship. I love the receptivity that you have, that the ability for listening, that you not only give yourself, but that you give to someone else, you know? Just all the little nuances, the body language, like you said. Just I really get all, I mean, I geek out sometimes. I don't know if I'm the only, I may be the only person, I don't know if I'm the only person on here, but when it comes to the touch of someone's ear, or the scratch, the itch of someone's nose, or you know, the rub it, you know, like when someone's, you know, when they're talking about something sensitive, and you know, okay, I might not want to
Right.
go there,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I
Like,
love it. I'm right there with you. It's saying there's so much being said in so many different ways. It's so beautiful.
yeah,
And like to be a place where it's safe to like just do it. Do what you
right.
need to do to express yourself and move it and be authentic. Like I love it. I love to acknowledge all the little details like you said, and why I cherish this so much too. Like it means so much to be able to really illuminate that for beings and celebrate that and share that on a level of sensuality and levels of intimacy that can really be grown in together on like a very intelligent, mature, deep, aware level. Like it's so beautiful.
Yes, absolutely. And right before we go, Marie, you know, she said down here, Jackie, you saw what Jackie said? I pinned it down here for you. Grab that magic, leave the tragic.
Grab that magic. Grab yourself. Give yourself some hugs. Give
Yeah.
yourself some hugs and let it all go.
Praises and cheers, brother. Magic of the minimum. Blessings. Praises and cheers. Praises and cheers. We're here.
Yes.
So much love, Marie. Thank you once again just for coming on. I think this was like what, our third time on here together. And
Yeah.
just every time it just builds on each other. It just builds and just gets more and more and more. We dive deeper and deeper and deeper. And oh man. Yeah.
As the depths increase, the light increases. We understand the whole simultaneous dance. It's so beautiful and such an honor. And yes, the spontaneity was like, yes, let's start off fresh. Let's have some fun. So it's just such an honor.
So what's one word going into this new year, you know, 2025? What's one word that you have for yourself going into this new year that you want to like intent, like to put it out into the field? What's one word?
Mm. One word to go out into the field.
Yeah, for the year.
Mm. The words that are coming up, I'm like, now I'm thinking too hard.
Last year for me, the year before last, that was expansion. And then last year was my year of patience. That was patience. Yeah. So what would it be for you this year?
Eh, that actually reminded me what I was gonna say, but we're gonna say that for another time. But the first thing that came up when you first asked, and that's what I'm just gonna go off of because that always feels the most just like I'll reflect on that was receptive tonality. That's kind of
Mm.
two words, but when you first said it, when you first asked, that was the first thing that came up, and that's like keeping our tone as receptive, like less words and allow the space to speak, allow the embodiment to speak.
Allowance. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. Wholeness and balance, divine allowance.
What's your word?
My
You said,
word this year, it's community, for sure. Community, like come unity,
yeah,
you know, like
yeah.
remembering,
Mm-hmm.
like
Community.
yeah.
Yeah.
For me,
That's a
that's mine this year is more just community like engagement. And yeah, last year for me was very just patience, and then before that it was just more exploration and expansion. But now I really feel the sense and the yeah, just the flavor that I want to savor with community, you know, with like-minded beings who are learning and growing, discovering themselves in new ways, discovering this world in new ways, and just yeah, they just want to be a light,
yeah.
you know.
Absolutely. This is the time for it. That's very aligned for these frequencies that we are feeling out and feeling into. And yeah, a lot of the friendships, a lot of like genuine connections. It's deeply felt this with this energy.
So thanks for the receptive tonality today. Thank you just for being receptive and within the collective. You know, we need it. We need it right now. And just, yeah, y'all definitely follow Marie, please. Everybody who's on here,
All of you. Yes.
follow this woman, follow this lady, follow this girl. Like that is, she's bringing joy to the world. Seriously, follow this girl. You won't be disappointed. You will not be disappointed. She's got so much knowledge, so much wisdom. You've seen all of this love going up in here. People are talking about freedom, liberation, sovereignty, mercy, like all of these words that are
Yes.
just reverberating and just resonating. So, yeah.
So much love. Such an honor every time. Thank you, Jerome.
I take care.
Yes, hold it. It's love. Praises and cheers.